how do you get out of the field and you run a approximate $1
$1. Yeah, some years it feels like that.
$1 million.
Sure. We hit $1 gross revenue. Yeah. The thing we're being reminded of, and I kind of remember this. One of the things I am good at remembering is like when you hire people and when you delegate, you've got to accept that people are going to make mistakes and mistakes are going to get made, and they're not going to always necessarily really do anything to the 120% effect that you would, and that's okay. That's a cost of growth of a company. The faster you can accept that, the mistakes are going to get made, and especially if you empower your people properly to make decisions, and, it's not the way I would have done it. Well, no kidding. They're not you.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Novi, Michigan, where the sun is out, not a cloud in the sky, light blue skies. Am I exaggerating, Caleb?
Not in the slightest. There is no clouds.
Beautiful day in Michigan at the Entrepreneur Academy Live, year number 5. And a friend of the program is returning, Caleb Auman. What's up?
Paul Jameson. How you doing, buddy? Good to be here.
Good. How far of a drive is it from Lancaster?
Lancaster. It's about 3.5, so not too bad. Totally manageable, and can get either a podcast in on the way up and record one, or cover some stuff we didn't get to, or just be quiet in the whole drive and just kind of chill a little bit. So not a bad drive at all.
Yeah, thanks to Brian and Liz for hosting us up here at the Detroit, Michigan area, Novi, Michigan. So
it's Novi,
absolutely beautiful.
Novi. The rest is Novi. It's not Detroit. It's Novi.
Yeah, but when I flew in over the airplane, we went over Canton, Ohio, which I looked out the window and I could see Canton, which was so cool. I could look out the window and see Lake Erie.
Yeah, right.
I never realized if you're in an airplane, because Canton, it was an hour drive to get from Canton to Cleveland. But in the airplane, I was like shocked. I was like, oh my gosh.
Dude,
the
perspective from the air is just always, I mean, that's what I love when we get the drone out or something. You just go up over your own little community or whatever, and you can see just the layout is just a whole different thing when you look at it from 300 feet to, 30,000, whatever.
Yeah, we were at 30,000, and my mind was blown because I'm looking at where I grew up, and I'm looking, like, you could see the lake.
Yeah,
it was wild.
I always love that because it gives me perspective always, right? Of like, look down there and there's my little problems down there, and then here's the rest of the world, and it's just like a good kind of check my bull crap at the door kind of thing sometimes of like what I'm worrying about, and then there's the whole world, and it's like just everything's gonna be all right, just chill. You know?
It was a beautiful flight though, because then we went just east of Cleveland and we flew over Lake Erie and then into Detroit, which I've never seen downtown Detroit from the air. It's not like on Lake Erie. It's on like a little, I don't know, canal.
Yeah.
That's right next to Lake Erie. So it was unique. I could see the skyscrapers and Ford Field and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, from the air, it's beautiful for sure. And the lake is awesome too. The Great Lakes are really cool. Mm-hmm. We took the kids up on a camping trip. We went over to, I think, Kelly's Island, and we took our little 20-foot camper and the truck and the kids, and we put on a barge, a ferry, and took the camper and the truck over to Kelly's Island with the kids, and that was they thought that was as cool as I hoped they would, taking the truck and camper on a boat and then going over to the island to camp for a weekend. That was a fun thing. So I've always liked the Great Lakes. It's really, really cool. Man, this Comic-Con thing going on is just crazy, isn't it, Mr. Jameson?
Yeah, I don't really know what it is I'm seeing. Can you explain
That's Wolverine.
this to me?
That is somebody dressed up with like Wolverine, the character.
Okay.
And then just a guy with a high-shorn head with dreadlocks wearing a Batman shirt. But the Comic-Con thing, is like, I don't know what cosplay is or LARPing or whatever that, like, live-action role play is LARPing, right? And I don't do any of that stuff. I don't understand that world. Maybe our video guy does. I don't know. But there's like a convention going on for that stuff. So there's people in like all sorts of superhero outfits and video game outfits that I don't understand. And I saw a giant Pikachu a little while ago, which my kids are into Pokemon, so they would think that is awesome. It's wild at the moment. Then you got this whole lawn care crowd.
You got polar opposite demographics here.
I'd say slightly so, yeah. slightly polar, yeah. So it's been an interesting crowd all through the halls here. So yeah, it's an interesting weekend for sure.
Yes. Well, Caleb, I want to pick your brain. One of the topics we're going to cover at the Lawn Care Life Conference is how do you get out of the field and you run a approximate $1 business.
$1. Yeah, some years it feels like that.
$1 million business, give or take.
We hit $1 gross revenue.
Yeah. And so you are the expert because good old Bo Campbell.
I don't know about expert, but
and your team there. So give us a little tips of when you transitioned out of daily laying the pavers and all of that.
Boy. So in a nutshell, what it really comes down to, what I would say is, because we've gotten kind of a reminder of this, of like what it's like to build a company that's fresh and new on our social media side, and we've hired some people to help us, get that thing stabilized, and we're hiring people that we're still working on fleshing out like what we're looking for and what templates should look, just all this stuff in this other little business we're doing. And it's a really good reminder of how really good we've got it in the landscape construction world, because we've got employees and team members that have been with us for 20 years and 10, 12 years and 12 years, and then a new guy that says he's going to be there a long time as well. But the new folks on this other end of our business with the podcast editing
and all that stuff.
How long has Bo
been there?
20, almost as long as I've had the company, but wow. 21 years, I think, with us. So in both forms of the company, my old one that I crashed, and then he rode on to the new one too. But the thing we're being reminded of, and I kind of remember this, I think this is one thing I'm really good at. I'm not good at a lot of stuff, but one of the things I am good at remembering is, like, when you hire people and when you delegate, you've got to accept that people are going to make mistakes, and mistakes are going to get made, and they're not going to always necessarily really do anything to the 120% effect that you would, and that's okay. That's a cost of growth of a company. And the faster you can accept that, the mistakes are going to get made, and especially if you empower your people properly to make decisions, and, it's not the way I would have done it. Well, no kidding, they're not you. And that's maybe a good thing sometimes, because you're going to bring new ideas and new things to the table, or just kind of make you reevaluate how you are doing things, period. So I think one of the biggest things about growing a company is you have to work on that inner mindset of people that come in your company. Whoa, lady about biffed it there with all that stuff scattered in front of the door. The lady walking by about went down there. But the big thing is you've got to be ready and willing and find the inner strength too to, like, tolerate and accept that. Not tolerate, it's not the right word, but accept that people are going to make mistakes. We're going to pivot out of those mistakes. We're going to say, hey, okay, so now for future reference, when a client asks us to do this that's super outside of scope, I need a phone call, or we need to say, hey, that's a little outside of scope of work. We're going to need to do a change order for that. But there's a lot of things there. We've just all got to work together as a team and let people know, our team members, that is, let them know that you're going to make mistakes, but I'd rather you make a decision, and even be the wrong one, rather than sit around for half an hour waiting on me to call you back or something, right? I want execution is what I want. So we got Mrs. Teapot entering the room here. She's
where's that at?
Coming right at us here. She looks like she's about to board a train in 1880.
That's the
cool
best
look.
Outfit of the day.
That is. That's sharp.
Right there, tea lady.
Thank
Good
you,
job.
Mrs. Tea Kettle. We like it.
Yeah.
Kind of a steampunk-esque look, possibly.
Excellent job on the costume there.
Hey, yeah, that's what you need, huh? I think she said something about having butlers. We'd be her butlers or something behind. Is that right? I don't know. This whole thing. So we've got what did Gwen Stefani have back in the day? The Harajuku girls or whatever they were. They were like her backup dancer things. I don't know. We got them out here. This is Paul. It's hard to stay focused. There's so much crazy costumes going on.
Well, I podcast at your event in Nashville. With the party buses going by at 10 a.m. and
that was one of the funniest podcasts.
15 girls on the bus sitting there waving themselves at me and Ben Naiman, and
Nashville was a wild time. That was a fun time for Together in the Trades down there, and we had that. That was funny. We had some funny podcasts with you too down there. It was enjoyable. So. Yeah, but ultimately, man, you got to accept that your team is going to make mistakes, and that's okay, and we're going to pivot through those, and we're going to set policy once we understand, like, hey, we don't do things that way, so here's a new policy that you also have your team help you create, too, so they have the additional buy-in, right? So they know because if we're, as Fullerton says, spinning the dream of, like, hey, guys, I know we don't have, like, the most awesome skid steer or a skid steer at all, but, like, we get through this year of lugging this mulch around or these materials. Next year we're buying a skid steer, and we're always, like, looking forward, right? And we're building a company that's going to be awesome to retire at, in 20 years or whatever. We hire you to retire you is a trucking company's slogan I saw in the back of their trucks, and I thought that was really cool. Like, here's a place to land and enjoy what you do 40 hours a week.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And again, Caleb's going to be talking about this at the Lawn Care Life Conference in Alabama. He's going to be sharing all about how to get out of the field and be, a little Michael Gerber action, working on your business instead of in your business. Now, I want to switch gears to your shop.
Yeah.
When did you start? How much money did it end up taking? What's next? Like, they always say it costs more than you think it's going to cost.
Oh yeah, it's Well, we've got about we got the Wonder Woman or something coming through here. This is craziness, Paul. There's some.
Don't look, Elijah.
There's
Don't look.
I wish you need to pan the camera around for some of these costumes. There's comes like a what do they call a showman or no what do they call that like the samurai whatever person, like a samurai's coming through here. This is crazy, Paul. We should just do a whole podcast. You know what? No, I'll do it on my own show. The heck with man, she's got a katana and everything. This is craziness. The shop build, yeah, over budget a little bit. I didn't used to have these wrinkles in the corner of my eyes until last year because I put in like insano hours. We GC'd our own building, so we did all the land development, all the site work. I did a ton of manual labor in this place, as did Britt. Our guys came in on it a little bit, too, in the wintertime, helped us do trim and finishing the place out. And if you want to see our building, you can check out our YouTube channel at Auman Landscape, Instagram, all that stuff. Dude, we really – the idea was to, like, put as much sweat equity into this thing as possible where when we, Lord willing, come out on the back end of it, have a lot of equity built up in the place. And we do. We got a lot of equity in the place, which is really cool, which we might leverage in some Kim Kiyosaki or Robert Kiyosaki kind of methodology to buy some other commercial properties. We'll see.
I'd call your buddy Andy Mulder before you do that.
There's two schools of thought in that world, and that's a long conversation. But we're okay with taking some calculated risk on that end of things to move a little faster. One of the differences I would say the reasoning is for me is because I crashed my first company from my 20s to my 30s. I mean, financially just broke at 30. And I'm 41 years old. I'm very behind. Like, I decided to get my crap together when I was 31 with my wonderful wife. And so we've got to move a lot faster than the speed of cash, unfortunately. If I'd had my head screwed on straight from my 20s, I would say we'd probably be in a better cash position than we are now, but we're playing catch-up. And so we're using some debt in a reasonable way, I believe, to leapfrog us ahead a little faster. And at the same time, we're working on paying off a lot of stuff, too. Like, most of our equipment is paid off. We're about to pay off some more stuff here in the next month. Like, the idea is to get debt-free. Personally, we just have a mortgage. But, like, on the company, the idea is to get ahead of that whole situation with paying off everything eventually. But we use debt to move us to leapfrog us forward very, very fast. Because one of the other problems is, Paul, I crashed a company that was 10 years old with a 10-year-old book of business and then had 10 years worth of work build up that I had to have machinery and all this stuff. So we had to leapfrog back ahead real quick. So that's a whole long story.
Is it your birthday?
So this thing with Brittany and her birthday and all this stuff is getting out of hand. And so I'm guessing, did they sing happy? So Brittany at Equip, the rumor I started was Brittany's birthday, which is not. It's in February. And so a couple different group organization or a couple different meetups, people just didn't know it, and so they thought it was Brittany's birthday, so they would sing happy birthday to her, and that's all because of Fullerton starting this stuff, of course, his typical antics. And this has caught on, and so now her at LAL, Entrepreneur Academy Live, and I don't know if they sang happy birthday to her here or whatever, but they also presented her with a cake. So
that looked good, too.
This is going to continue to be a thing for a while, I believe. So happy birthday, Brittany.
So back to my question you sidestepped. How much did the shop cost?
What I can say is, if you were to, I mean, I can share some numbers. What the heck? The way I'm framing this background, if we were to hire out everything I did last year and everything we did as a team and a couple and a company and all that, the building's probably worth $1 million, probably 1.1 maybe if we were to have it appraised. And we've got roughly half that into it because I shaved 10 years off my life last year, I think, possibly. But working to get it done and the equity. And one of the great things about us being in the trades, we have the skills, and we have the wonderful blessing of my father-in-law, who is really good with electricity and plumbing stuff, and I'm handy at that too. But the technical expertise that we happen to have because of my father-in-law, who's so wonderful with his time, helping us with that, and other people I know in the trades that helped us through some stuff with permitting and just us all. It really has been part of like what I've been working my whole entire life for my whole entire career of 25 years of building these relationships and building these connections and all this stuff really came to I want to say a pinnacle or a crescendo last year because it's still going up, but we utilized a lot of those connections to help us make a big leap forward in net worth for the family for our retirement again, 'cause I'm so behind in my retirement, which is why we wanted a facility that was separate from the house. That's part of our it sounds pretentious, but our portfolio of assets for when we retire or sell the company or whatever. So we got into that, but we worked so hard last year, it's absurd. But again, fortunately, we're a landscape construction business, so we have equipment, we have excavators and skid steers and all that stuff. So we're able to make that happen, which is kind of what I'm going to talk about today at LAL. It's something I always thought was a bunch of hooey or maybe hocus pocus, is the manifestation thing. And I'm going to touch on that a little bit today. Actually, my whole talk orbits around that, really. Of like, we never saw what the shop built. And again, if you go to our YouTube channel and look at our shop, it's a beautiful facility. The Lord has blessed us so amazingly. Britt and I, we got the whole thing done and built, and we still got a long ways to go with external landscaping and stuff now. But we looked up one day and we're like, we just realized, like, we never said this couldn't be done. It just was never. We just no was not an option, and we had contingencies. Well, if this happens and we can't get zoned, we're going to change the zoning to this. We had contingencies, but it just was not in. It was just not going to happen. It was going to happen, and so we kind of realized all of a sudden of like, well, what are we telling ourselves in our lives that like we are hamstringing ourselves, telling ourselves we can't do this, or, oh, hiring a sales guy is a stretch. We don't know if we should do this. It's not, okay, we're hiring a sales guy. This totally makes sense for the company. This is what we're doing. And we're not talking about other things like that. And so my talk today, I'm gonna kind of work through that and try to, my idea is to get people to think about, like, what are we holding ourselves back from? And then what could we kind of jump headlong into with calculated, foresight of making things happen that would be a big leap forward for us.
Fantastic, Caleb. Well, I really appreciate your time. Thanks to Brian and Liz for this wonderful event. Thank you for
this is so great.
Your
365 people at this thing. Isn't
really
that crazy? That is so many people.
Yeah,
There's much people, as my nephew would say, or my actually Zeke says that. Never mind.
We can't fit that many people in Alabama at Jason's venue. It's
well, it's gonna be close, like 300.
We can fit 300.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But his brother-in-law maxes us out there because it's a manor. Do you know what a manor is?
Mm-hmm.
What is a manor?
It's like a plantation style, home or whatever. So an estate, we might call it here in the north. I don't know.
Okay. It's 100 acres. I mean, I've been there. It's stunningly beautiful in the rolling hills of Alabama. 100 acres, not like woods. 100 acres, like 100 acres, like
sprawling. Yeah,
it's absolutely breathtaking. And they have, I think, 3 different buildings on the venue. So theoretically, they could have 3 weddings going on a Saturday afternoon because they have plenty of room for parking and whatnot. But we rented out one of the venues. February 23rd, we'll have dinner, and then he'll have a live band there, just kind of like a wedding reception, but just all of us hanging out. And then all day Saturday, we'll have Alan Haynes speaking, and Naylor's going to be there. Our friend Jeremy Vesta going to be there teaching on marketing, and so many others, Jeremiah Jennings, myself, Jason Krill. And so, but the room's only 300. So
better get your tickets, because with a speaker lineup like that, it's going to be a showstopper banger for sure. It's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Caleb's going to be teaching us how to get out of the field if that's what you choose to do. Some people don't want to do that.
Yeah.
They want to stay. Andy Mulder, for example, doesn't he enjoy doing the work?
Yeah, I enjoy the work too. Absolutely. And actually I'm working on kind of returning to the field a little bit myself. But what I think you still have to do, you still have to empower your team, because there's going to be days and times and trials in life and things that aren't going to allow you to be in the field with your team. And I think you need to at least be able to, ease the reins onto your team that they can cover for you while you're gone for a week if someone's sick, or just so you can travel and vacation a little bit and enjoy all that hard work. So I think it's really important, you do you, whatever, everybody, right? But like, I really believe, whatever. I really believe everybody should have a crew that is competent, that can run without them, so that they don't have to be there and they can go handle other things in life that come up, and also have that kind of same grace for their team as well. But I think you got to be able to step away from the company, because you don't want to be ball and chain to that thing It's why would you want to do that? I don't know. And Andy can step away from his team as well. He's done a great job about stepping away from those guys with plowing snow, especially, and all that. So he's done a great job getting away from, or being able. That's a big difference. Being able to get away from the team if he needs to. So
cool. Well, thanks so much, Caleb. Good luck on your speech. I know you'll crush it. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to getting it over with. You know?
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, I don't get nervous, but I'm just looking. I'll be at a different ease of state of mind when it's over. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't enjoy it, and I keep getting asked to do this stuff. It's crazy. But
you're the smooth operator up there.
People. If I've gotten at a bit, and I must be a heck of a poker player then, because I feel like a ball of nerves to an extent, but not to, it's just a weird thing. It just anxious maybe is the right word, but I like it, and at the same time, like this leading up to it, I don't. Once I get on stage, it's like let's go. But man, this last couple hours, I can't wait for this to be over. And the main thing is too, like you get the privilege to be on stage, right? And what a privilege it is to be in front of 400 freaking people and share your story or try to say something that helps people. And I guess I'm always just worried, like, is whatever I say, being as much of a train wreck as it is or whatever, is it still going to bring value to someone, right? Is it still going to be worth people's time to at least listen in on what I've got to say? And I think that's probably because I inherently am a people pleaser, more than I wish that I was or admit that I am. And so I'm always, hinging on that if people liked it or not. And I'm always worried about that way more than I should. And I hate that about myself as a personality quality. But it is what it is. So here we are. So Lord willing, it's valuable for someone. Yeah. So next year, get your butt to Michigan. Heck
Beautiful
yeah.
sunny weather.
It has not been this way in the past.
I know.
Man.
I've been at this event 5 years. 1 year there were snowflakes, there's gray clouds pretty much every year.
15 degrees, and I was at a thing for our software company in Miami the day prior. We flew from Miami to Detroit. It was 89 in Miami or 90, and then we flew here and got off the plane. It's 15 degrees. I'm like, what am I doing with my life?
It is
Brian,
beautiful.
Get this thing south. My gosh.
Yeah, but speaking of getting south, we will be down south February 23rd through 24th. Do not miss out.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Join us in Sweet Home, Alabama at the Lawn Care Life Conference. Again, it's going to sell out, so get your tickets before it does.
Roll Tide or War Eagle, whatever you're
Roll
into.
Tide, roll, baby. RTR, Roll Tide, roll.
Folks, thanks for listening in. At Auman Landscape on Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff. And we have a podcast, too, called Kid Contractor. Thank you. Paul, I always appreciate it, buddy.
Yep. Peace.